Hi there, it's Nick back on the Get Me Off Grid video blog, and I'm just reporting back on the first direct sunshine test of the photovoltaic solar panel, which I made using broken cells, basically reclaimed solar cells. Absolutely amazing. Relatively small panel, not all that many cells in it, but I still managed to generate in direct sunshine in the early morning. So that's not when the sun is at its strongest, okay? That's in the early morning, not midday, of in excess of 12 volts, peaking about 12.5 volts. Absolutely fantastic, because I thought I was only going to get about 10 volts out of it. Then we want to be able to try and calculate the quantity of wattage, namely the quantity of power that it can actually generate in direct sunshine. And remember, this is still an early in the morning test, and I used a multimeter. Now my multimeter is a bit cruddy. It's not quite as good as it should be. When measuring amps, it can only go up to 2 amps. So I thought, well, maybe it'll say like 1.5 amp for the whole panel in direct sunshine, but no, it came up with an error message. Now that error message shows that the quantity of ampage was in fact much higher than the maximum of 2 amps. So let's say hypothetically that the panel was only generating 2 amps, okay? 2 amps times 12 volts equals the wattage, which is 24 watts, or in fact 25 if you count the extra half of volts I managed to generate in the direct sunshine. So an absolutely amazing panel. It still hasn't used up all the rest of the cells. I've still got like a massive pile of them here. I would show them to you, but they're all fragile and I want to keep them nice and safe for the next panel I'm going to create. So this is the plan. Maybe once a month or once every month and a half, just get some cells together, get some board, get some clear acrylic, and make myself a solar panel. And basically this is the quantity of power I got from it was beyond that which I thought I could get from it, and it actually worked okay. I've improved my soldering technique and the routine that I can get into to try and do the tapping wire properly, and I am bowled over with the result for the first panel I've created from broken cells. Remember, the very first panel I created was many years ago when I was actually in school, but that was made with red silicon, okay, and that already had some leads attached to the cells, because that was a much simpler sort of like hobbyist thing. But this is actually, the system I'm using at the moment is for the more serious hobbyist, or someone who wants to generate a lot of power. So absolutely fantastic. So if you can teach yourself these skills over a period of a few years, just putting a few pennies aside once in a while, so you can get yourself the wood, get yourself the acrylic, get the wires and all the rest of that, you yourself can have power, energy. Now the things I've got to do to the panel next is to create some diode protection devices so I can use the thing for charging up a battery. Diode protection is important because you don't want the charge from the battery leaking back into the panel and basically frying your cells. So that's something to bear in mind. So I've got to get that sorted out, and then I've got to think about inversion. I've got to think about what devices I want to power with it, and so on and so forth. But fascinating result with the first one I've created. So yeah.